team dinner when we're in LA. All right. Fading to black, getting started, counting down now. Starting in 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for November 3rd, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Bungie talks about losing trust and Super Mario RPG, Sonic the
Hedgehog,
Donkey Kong 3. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Tamar Hussein, everybody! Harvest Moon. Damn, how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. How are you? You know, it's Friday. It's Greg's Day. So, you know what I always do? You know what we say, Jeff Grubb? Greg's Day, best day.
That's what we say.
So we're going to try and bring the heat. And we're going to enjoy a good old Friday Greg's Day.
That's right. We're going to get through this.
Ninja Gaiden 1, Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden 3. Cruise USA.
That's a very important video to me. We were talking about before we get started. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
People don't know what that video is.
Yeah, that's right. We discovered
don't know what that video is.
That's not possible.
Oh man, that's no way. Can we do like a live viewing?
Yeah. Let's watch it now. All right, give me a second.
Let's watch it now. Yeah.
It'll just take me like 10, 15 seconds to get it up.
How have people not known?
There's no way.
This?
I'm gonna play it and they're gonna be like, oh, this.
Oh yeah. Update day on the Wii Shopping channel.
Janet, did I break this or did you break this? I think I broke it. Let me see here.
How do you not know update day?
We're gonna do update day, everybody. Let's go here.
What time is it in Japan?
It's 11:45. All right, let's go to update day.
Bossa Nova beat. Makes me just wanna croon it.
Oh yeah. All right, here we go. There's that.
There we go. Everyone, sit down. Be quiet. It's time for a giant bomb viewing of Update Day.
Yeah, buckle in.
This.
All right, there we go. And
crooked view. Pause it. Crooked view has done something that I also. Lucy did the same thing, and I will talk about this afterwards. He's written the words I reckon, and I have some very sad news for you. All right, let's go.
All right, yep. Let's do this. All right, here it is, everybody. Well, I fixed this camera.
Matt, yeah,
update day.
New Wii titles. What? I'm in the bathroom. Update day for the Wii Shopping channel. It's funny because normally they do it. It's like 11. It's like 11:15.
What time is Japan?
Turn that up.
What kind of music is that? Like a bossa nova beat? Makes me really want to just croon it.
Can you turn up the sound on it?
Yes.
You know what we should do? We should write a song for our act.
You're hearing it just fine, right?
Titles of Wii games. Oh, I like it. Because everybody knows about the Wii Shopping channel, and everybody loves to shop on it every Wednesday. So what we'll do is we'll write a theme song for the Wii Shopping channel. Watch this. Watch this. You can sing to the titles of the Super Mario RPG, Super Mario 3. Mega Man, Neo, Turf Masters, Break-In, Star... You know what I mean, Jared?
Yeah.
Like every... You say the lyrics of the...
Let me try one. Super Mario RPG, Sonic the Hedgehog, Donkey Kong 3, Adventures of Low 1 and 2,
King's Knight, Dig Dug,
Two-Man Food, Harvest Moon.
You right this?
The moment where he turns.
It never not makes me laugh.
Tim and Earl in Panic on Funkotron.
Pennsylvania, Fatal Fury, Ninja Chuchumaru, Comet, Razor Blazing, Lasers, Basis Loaded, Mega Turrican, Cybernator, Rolling Thunder, Dynastic Hero, Bubble Bobble, Double Dribble, Dragon F-Zero.
I get it. You memorized the song.
F-Zero X, and Donkey Kong Jr. Math, Ninja Gaiden 1, Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden 3.
Who's USA? USA?
No!
All right, that's that. You got okay. Now you know. Now you know, chat. How dare you not know? I'm actually upset with some of you.
So I can't remember who it was who said it was. Cricket View said, I reckon. Sadly, it's not I reckon, which Lucy said the same thing. It's a little bit problematic.
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit problematic. Yes, this is from 15 years ago.
He's doing an impression of an Asian person.
Yes, he
saying,
is.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it. I like it.
Yep.
I remember telling Lucy that, and just the sadness in her eyes. Like I was like, oh no, I should have kept that to myself.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. I wish I could get the the other F word, the edit that takes that out of all my movies I like from the 80s. Yep. I was watching Monster Squad.
It's like what we do.
It's unnecessary.
Yes. See, Siegfried got it right. We in this community, it's I Riker.
Yes. Riker.
That's what we do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. I like it. And I Rikert. All right. Tam, how's your week been? Yeah, how you feeling about everything? Are we good with games? Are we caught up? Are we feeling behind in anything?
Man,
no way, right?
I am struggling. Like I am struggling. I am like most of the way through Alan Wake 2. I'm most of the way through Alan Wake 2, which I'm hoping I'm going to finish this weekend. I got a good chunk of the way through it anyway for the like review verification, but I just haven't had the time to like just wrap it up. I've got a bunch of games that I still want to play, including like Thirsty Suitors just came out.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
That. Yeah, I really want to play that. I need to finish Cocoon. I want to finish Chants of Sonara. I still haven't finished Lies of P. There's a bunch of other things that have been going on. I also like this week or last week actually, I got ready to start streaming again. Since moving to my new place, I haven't done a single stream, and I was like, all right, I'm back, baby. So I started it all up, and then for some reasons, I had to not be very available on the internet right now. So I decided, I should wait. And until like people are less on my ass about certain things.
Sure.
And then so that happened, and then oh man, still so many other games to play. I still haven't finished Baldur's Gate 3, but I feel like that's going to be a long-term project. Mario Wonder, I played a decent chunk of. Need to play more of. There's so much stuff going on.
It's a lot of stuff. I've
been traveling as well. I was in LA last week doing Indie Land here, which is a show that Gerard puts on, charity event, and it was incredible. Have you guys heard of RoboDunk? Dan Riker is in this chat. I know it. Dan, RoboDunk. Get it. It's NBA Jam. It's NBA Jam with robots.
Is it out now?
It's out now, and it is unbelievable. It is so much fun.
All right,
like we played it, and we played it with like when I first started it, I was like, oh no, how is this gonna be? And am I gonna get bored after this? Played that straight hour, just laughing my sides off.
Oh, okay.
And it is that same. It's 2-on-2 NBA Jam. And you play different robots. They look like little Lego robots. They each have different like classes and abilities, and you just basic stuff, pass, shoot, and like you hold down the jump button. The longer you hold it down, the more flashy the dunk is. If you hold it down for 4 bars, you jump into space and then do a dunk. And then in between like halves, you kind of put in new modules into your robot to give them powers. Like, oh, I can check them further, or like I can there's also a parry system where someone who like tries to knock you down, if you hit at the right time, you parry. It is
Fairy system. Okay, this sounds amazing.
It is genuinely. It is so good, and it has like a roguelike element to it as well, with like progression. It is fantastic. Like it's one of the games that came out of that show being like, I cannot play this.
More games should have a jump into
wait
space.
To play this more.
Yeah, they're like Dolphin Olympics. I remember playing that forever ago, and getting that dolphin to go into space was so much fun. More games should have exactly that.
I don't think it has online play right now.
Maybe we could do that remote play together on Steam, though.
Yeah, I guess so. But also, like, I don't know if you guys are somehow, getting together for some sort of charity
event. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Play RoboDunk.
Let's go. All right, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm getting this game right away. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Bungie sort of wrapping up their week with one more apology. They tell about Destiny fans, we know we have lost a lot of your trust amid layoffs and delays.
Bungie throwing a plasma grenade at his feet another time.
Just self-owns left and right here. This is from Michael McWhorter at Polygon. In the wake of layoffs at Bungie and reports of an impending delay to Destiny 2 expansion The Final Shape, and in place of its usual This Week in Destiny update, the studio instead posted a sober, contrite message from the development team that acknowledges players' dissatisfaction with the game. In its note, Bungie addressed the layoffs at the studio, saying, "We've parted ways with people we respect and admire." About 100 Bungie workers were laid off this week after Destiny 2 player counts plummeted by nearly half, according to a report from Bloomberg. While Bungie doesn't directly confirm reports of a 4-month delay for Destiny 2's next expansion, the statement certainly implies it. "We want to acknowledge the feedback and concerns you have about Lightfall," Bungie said, referring to the most recent and coolly received 6th expansion for Destiny 2, "and recent seasons, as well as your responses to the reveal of the first shape. We know we have lost a lot of your trust. Destiny needs to surprise and delight. We haven't done this enough, and that's going to change." As part of its path forward, Bungie said it needs to make The Final Shape an unforgettable Destiny experience on par with beloved Destiny expansions Forsaken, The Witch Queen, blah, 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 blah.
I understand this, and
I do too.
I kind of.
But
here's the thing that I really dislike.
Yeah.
It's in statements like this, the apologies should be squarely focused on the people that were let go.
Yes.
Okay. And how they were treated. I really dislike it when companies are like, we know that our game needs to be better.
Right.
Because you're speaking now to consumers.
Right.
And you kind of use that to cover for the fact that you should be talking to the people you just did dirty. Like it feels really disingenuous to be like, we know Destiny should be. I don't give a fuck about Destiny right now. I do not care what Destiny is like right now. I do care about those people that you just dumped. And like, I feel like you shouldn't be out here talking about, we're going to make the traveler have a cool voice next time. I promise. I don't care.
Yep.
I personally don't give a shit. I know there's some Destiny freaks out there that are like, yeah, this is all we hear about. But like, how insulting is it to have like, to be let go and then have a statement from the studio talking shit about the work that you were doing. See, like, this stuff wasn't good enough. We get it. We know. We understand. It kind of creates this implication that those people were let go because the content that we produced was bad, which is a really shitty way to cover for yourself when you know that it's probably not the content that was the cause of this. There are other factors in place. I don't know what it was. But in this world of corporate America, where games are like studios are overreaching constantly, I'm willing to bet a certain amount that it probably wasn't the quality of the game that resulted in this. It's probably some business decisions, overreach, whatever it may be, that resulted in some way to, the necessity to get rid of people to a degree. But like, that isn't something that you put your hand. No CEO or corporation ever comes up and be like, listen, we spent too much money on this side of the thing. Now we're paying for it. They always do this like, oh, the game was, not up to par, and we get it. It's like, no, stop trying to blame the people that you just let go. Like, it's a very shitty way of offloading blame onto other people, and it happens so much in the video game industry. I really dislike it. It's so shitty. Like, you don't need to put a statement out don't put a statement out and try and like assuage gamers, because we're not buying it. Like, it's just such a shitty way of throwing the people that you just kicked out under the bus. That fucking sucks. You know what they should be saying? We're sorry. We fucked up. We did X, Y, and Z with our decisions, and sometimes these creative decisions are out of these people's hands as well. They could probably turn around and be like, we knew that was going to suck.
We know.
And we tried to say that was going to suck.
They always know.
It wasn't going to work. They always know.
Yeah.
And then people push it through for one reason or another. Like, you should be apologizing to them, not to us.
Yep. The decisions of executives put the team in this position, and I'm sure this, because they always do know. Whenever we talk to developers, they're like, yeah, man, you said exactly all the stuff we've been saying for literally years with your criticisms. We know better than anybody. They know, and so they were definitely saying it internally, and they get ignored for meeting deadlines for whatever financial reasons, and then those decisions fall squarely on executives, and then when the axe comes down and someone has to pay for those poor decisions or for those mistakes, it's not the executives. It's a cycle repeating itself over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So this year especially, but for the history of video games.
Yeah, they say like, we want to acknowledge the feedback and concerns you have about Lightfall. I don't have any feedbacks or concerns about Lightfall. I do have some feedback and concerns about what the senior executives
what might have led to Lightfall,
what they were doing. Like,
yeah.
why did this happen? I also would like to know, like, what sacrifices have those senior executives made?
Yeah, no.
Because we know, like, the rank and file, for lack of a better term, are paying the price for this now. But what have you, as like a studio leader, now given up to make up for these bad decisions and the quality of Lightfall?
We never hear about that.
Like, probably nothing, right? Like, I know obviously Pete Parsons was on Twitter popping off being like, oh, I'm so sorry about this, and everyone's like,
yeah,
what did you lose, Pete?
Think about my feelings.
Did you take a pay cut? Did you lose anything? Like, what's going on?
I think if he would have done that, we would have heard, but he didn't say shit about that.
He didn't say shit about that. Like, if that is a PR moment for him. Like, I took a X amount pay cut to try and, help as well, and XYZ. And you could be like, okay, cool. At least we know that someone else is taking, the leadership is stepping up to take some of the blame. And maybe there are in ways that we don't know, but like, we acknowledge your feedback and concerns about Lightfall. I ain't got none of that. I got feedback and concerns about your staff is what I have. The developers that are on your team, because you are making it a hard place to be, man.
Live service games are in a situation where they need to be so much to so many people. And I think when it comes down to it, the morale on the staff spreads out into being the morale of the community. And everyone needs to be feeling pretty good about the game for it to have the momentum it needs to just maintain a certain level, let alone grow. And I think these companies ignore that so frequently with like, hey, if your team isn't feeling good and confident and supported and secure working on this project, the gaming community is going to hone in on that, know that that's what's happening, and then it's going to poison the well of your entire game that you need to be surviving for years and years and years. And now you're digging a deeper hole for yourself. So just from a selfish like business point of view, I think these companies just are so short-sighted with these decisions to be like, hey, we see tough times ahead. We're in tough times right now. Let's hit the panic button and cut a bunch of people. It's just cut staff. It's like, man, I think you would be so much better served if you can take some of that new Sony money and just try to weather the storm a little bit better and talk it out with your community and explain that things are at a low point and try to say, hey, here's what we're going to work on. That would be seen as a
people would
strength.
Respect that.
They would respect it.
Yeah,
and no respect for Bungie right now.
No, and someone at Bungie will say, like, you're being naive. Like, we have to make these decisions, otherwise the hit is much harder, and the studio, more people have to be let go. But it's like, you just announced Marathon. You know who wanted that shit? No one.
Yeah,
that's who wanted that.
Especially as an extraction shooter, it's like they're having to convince people that we want that. Ooh,
yeah, and like, what is the faith now in you? If you're not able to do your crown, if you're not have your shining jewel destiny to make it like pop off, and you just laid off a bunch of people and you did it in a shitty way, why should we give a shit about a Marathon? Why?
I mean, the Sony acquisition internally at Bungie, the people that were working there did see that as, hey, we know that the game is not having enough players, but we're feeling pretty secure because Sony did just acquire us. So that's why most of them were shocked when when these layoffs went through. Does it shock you? Are you like, what is Sony's strategy here?
I don't. Well, wasn't there some like report about Sony had no involvement in this part of it? I don't believe entirely.
Yeah, they said it was Pete Parsons' decision, not Sony's decision. But Pete Parsons is a Sony employee.
Yeah, he has to report into Big Sony. So like, it is in a way. The thing that like, probably not a great time to plug it, but like today's episode of Spot On is about this exact topic. So Lucy and I were like discussing it yesterday, and like we're trying to write the notes and figuring it out and that kind of stuff. And I think the thing that we kept talking about was like, it's not safe for anyone out here. Like traditional, or like most people, you'd ask them and you'd be like, oh, once I get under the umbrella of a major corporation, I'm probably quite safe, right? I'm less like, I'm part of a big machine that's got a lot of money, and I should be okay. Like Sony, you'd expect people to be, I don't know, Sony acquires Bungie. Sony's got crazy money. They sell consoles, not as much as they used to. You know, consoles are kind of, their kind of sales have normalized, but like digital sales, and Sony's a big company, et cetera, et cetera. So you should be okay. Same with Epic. Epic had layoffs this year. Epic is making Fortnite money. They're making money. They have more money than some nation states, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. Like you join that company and you're probably like, I'm all right, I don't think I'll be hit by layoff. But in this industry, somehow you are even less safe when you join these companies, because the disposability of you is much higher.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually the opposite way. When you work at like a small team, you scale to operate at that size. And you kind of like, everyone is essential. If you're part of that team, you have a role to play, and it's important. Whereas at these big companies, it's like they're willy-nilly, like they're just doing things that beyond their means, and shooting shots that make no sense, and hoping like they're gonna do NFT artworks or some bullshit like that. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, I just got cut because some executive thought this would be a good idea, and now I don't have healthcare anymore.
Yeah, I think it is important to look at what's happening with a lot of studios, with Bungie included, through the lens of reverberations coming out of the pandemic still. These companies were making a lot of money in the pandemic, and then, like you said, a lot of moonshots, a lot of big bets that they were just like, well, listen, we know the pandemic high tide is not going to last forever. We realize that, and it's like, it doesn't feel like they really realized that, but they probably did to some extent. But they're like, well, we can't just be like, well, squirrel away all this money. The way that we're going to survive this is to be optimistic and make big bets on a bunch of different things. And it turns out, as always, that's a really risky thing. And these guys actually don't know what they're doing and don't know where to put that money. And for Sony, it definitely was a bunch of live service stuff. For Epic, it was every bad idea anyone whispered into Tim Sweeney's ear. There was just every single, like, he's got that worm tongue, just, hey, fucking NFTs, the metaverse, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, wow.
Ariana Grande.
And so, and then here we are a couple years later, where it's like, okay, well, has the rubber met the road? Yes. What's happening with any of these things? Nothing. No, all of it's bad. All of it's bad. All of it's not working. You could have maybe stuck to your core competencies. When you did stick to your core competencies, Epic publishing a fucking video game from Remedy, that worked out pretty well. Could have done a lot more of that. It's like, no, these other big bets where you sort of worked yourself into a shoot about we can make the future happen. We're that powerful. It's like, I mean, over at Epic at least, so you borrowed a bunch of ideas and put them into your engine that you owned, and then that turned into a gold mine. And it's like, good for you. Like that, sure, yeah, whatever. You want applause for that? Yeah, that's cool. But don't pretend like you're the company that's making the future happen on all these turns. And then for Sony, it's just they are in such a tough position at PlayStation where they need to find out what their other pillar is going to be. They have two pillars, and that is big AAA blockbuster games and a really strong PlayStation Network service that has a pretty good subscriber base. And these things make a lot of money, but they are pretty much tapped out. They aren't growing at some alarming rate. They are kind of just making as much money as they can, and everyone understands they're going to make about that much money. And then the rest of Sony is just dwindling. And so there's a strong PlayStation that needs to get bigger to hold the rest of the boat up. And so they do make these bets, and they're like, live service is it. And now here we are. We know that's not really going to be the answer. and it's just like, oh, it feels like it's going to get worse before it gets better when they have to actually figure out what is going to happen with all these acquisitions and all of these bets that they have made. So, and then who's going to pay for it? Not the executives. No. Jim Ryan, he's out, man. He's dipping. He's going to be gone.
He's done. Yeah. And that's the worst part of it. The executives are like chilling, chilling. They're fine. They'll be okay. Like even the ones that take a hit are still probably better off than all of us combined. And even, like an executive could leave and be like, "I'm going to set up a new studio." It's fine.
Yep. All right. Let's move along here. Super Mario RPG.
I did everything right, and they indicted me.
Super Mario RPG preview roundup. It's faithful and fresh according to a bunch of previews. This comes from Isaiah Colbert at Kotaku. Super Mario RPG, the remake of Square Enix's 1996 2D pixel art classic, will be out on Nintendo Switch on November 17th. Man, that's 2 weeks away. The charming-looking turn-based game sees Mario and Peach join forces with the dastardly Bowser and a whole bunch of others. Destructoids called it a faithful remake with subtle improvements. That's not to say that the only alterations are quality of life related. There are also cute visual touches that, while seemingly small at a glance, added a lot to my experience. Mario and his companions now have fun little idle animations while they wait for their turn in battle, which appropriately reflects their personalities. For example, you might see Mario take a couple practice swings while he waits for his turn. He's holding a hammer in that case. IGN says it recreates a classic while breathing new life into its combat. Timing your attacks and blocks has also been made more important, even against pushover enemies who could be cleared in a single area of effect smash. That's because Super Mario RPG keeps track of how many successfully timed presses you've completed in a row, even between fights. I loved seeing how high I could get that number, and you're rewarded the better you do with small buffs and a slowly changing gauge meter. And then at GamesBeat, Super Mario RPG preview, what's new with the Geno crew? Well, Mike Minotti writes, if you struggled with hitting those action commands before, and those being the timed button presses during combat, the remake will give you a little help. When you first have a new ability, exclamation marks will appear to help you learn the timing for its action command. Those exclamation marks will disappear on their own once you nail the action command 5 times in a row. Some moves also have new visual elements to help you with timing. Geno Beam, for example, now shows a row of stars that give you a good idea of how long you need to charge the attack for. Mike, I feel like that happened in the first one, but maybe not. Either way, though, that one right there, that little tidbit, Tam, is big for me. I'm a big Super Mario RPG fan. I love the game as it is. If they never remade this, I'd be perfectly fine. This remake looks pretty good, though, and what I like to hear is the combat action timing sequences are going to be a little bit more informative about when to interact with them. It was a lot of guesswork on the Super Nintendo, so improving that is kind of all I really needed, and all this other stuff is just butter on top, or icing on top, I should say. So I'm excited about this. You a Super Mario RPG guy? Have you ever played it? Are you excited about this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I'm a Super Mario RPG enjoyer.
Excellent.
I mean, I love those all of those Mario RPGs. I think are fundamentally good on some level.
Yeah, they all got some, except for Sticker Star, but yeah.
Yeah, even Sticker Star's like got a little bit of charm.
It does.
To it.
I know. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it's the best of the bunch. I don't think it's like an amazing game either. Like, but I still have fun with it, and it's charming, and I'm like, oh, this is cute. But like, Super Mario RPG is definitely the one that is like the standout. So I'm excited to play more of it. For a minute, I was like, did the reviews come out? What's going on? Because I was like, the way you're reading stuff off, I was like, these are very definitive statements.
Yeah, and I don't even know if people got a chance to play. I thought a lot of these were hands-off previews, but people are excited about it. I think Nintendo just did a lot of like one-on-one hands-off previews with people, and so they're feeling pretty good about it. But we can probably expect reviews in about a week and a half, I would think.
I mean, I know exactly when the reviews are coming. I was just confused. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Don't even tell me, because I don't want to know, because I'm still butthurt about my Nintendo jail problem. Yeah, but I'm still very excited about this. I'm actually going to, like, when I read these, I'm like, oh yeah, I should just go pre-order that game. And so I've done that. I cannot wait. It is going to be preloaded on my Switch and ready to go as soon as possible. And then it's like, after that, we got 1,000 Year Door probably early next year from Nintendo. So it's like, Mario RPG fans, yeah, it's the remakes or re-releases or whatever, but who cares? That's great. I want those on the Switch, so looking forward to it. All right, we're going to take a quick break, everybody. When we get back, we got Sonic news, we got EA talking about the Microsoft acquisition and what that means for them, and a whole lot more right after this. We're back. We're talking about air horns, and Sonic Frontiers has now sold 3.2 million copies worldwide. Not a huge story, Tam. Listen.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Wow. Jeff Grubb thinks that all of us, we're all the same. All of us people with 3-letter names, all the same, are we? Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Wow, is that Mr. Lebowski?
Yeah, it's my get up for Blight Club. Now I just use it whenever I need it. Need to escape into my other persona. Sonic Frontiers, 3.2 million copies. Damn. I just want to know. They've been talking up about how they want Sonic.
Someone's getting janceled and canceled. I love that.
That's good stuff. Do you think Sonic could actually sell significantly better than 3.2 million copies if the games were even better? Like, I think Frontiers is okay, but if they put extra effort into it, would it make that much of a difference? Or are they like, hey, we're gonna put out kind of a game and it's gonna do just fine anyhow?
Is the question here, would Sonic sell if it was good?
Yes. Yes, it is.
No, absolutely not. No.
We had a story earlier this week where it's they said, hey, they still view Mario as the thing to beat, and their goal is to one day have Sonic be bigger than Mario. And
here's an idea I'm going to posit. Sonic's popularity outside of the game dwarfs his popularity in games. I don't think Sonic is no longer
they're disconnected, right? Yeah.
Sonic is no longer a video game icon. Like Sonic used to be a video game icon. Sonic now is more of a multimedia entertainment icon than a video game one. I don't think about Sonic when people ask me like, what are the major characters in video games right now? I do not think of Sonic at all. I'm a Sonic boy as well. I grew up playing Sonic over Mario. Even though I wanted Mario, I had a Mega Drive and I'd play Sonic. But I just do not think about Sonic as a factor in the video game world. I feel like it's a nostalgic one. Like every now and then there's a game that comes out and I'm like, oh, Sonic, cool. But like I feel like Sonic's popularity is huge outside of video games, just not within video games.
I think that seems right. And I think when people bring that fandom back to the games, yeah, I mean, I looked at the comments for that new Apple Arcade Sonic 3D game I think it looks pretty cool. Who knows what's going to end up being, but I think at least in terms of aesthetics, I think they did a good job of capturing the look and feel of Sonic in the 3D world in a way that I don't think really has happened before. It's been like, oh, we're going to do a different aesthetic for the real world stuff. You're going to be in San Francisco and grinding down rails. So to see them like, oh no, this is just going to look like those Zone Genesis gameplays, but in 3D, it's pretty cool. But I look at the comments and it's like, oh, we're really glad Cream the Rabbit is here. And I'm like, listen, no, I am not yucking anyone's.
No rabbit.
But I'm not going to cream a rabbit. Exactly. And it's that's what they care. They care about their lore and the characters that they learn about in some other games, and probably from the cartoons and the comics and from their merchandising. And I think that's perfectly fine. But I do think it leads it's kind of like backwards now, where it's like they have certain things that they care about, and it's not really so much about, oh, let's improve the Sonic game so much. And not to say that there can't be good Sonic. I think Sonic Mania is great, but I think if Sonic Frontiers was a 9 out of 10, I think it still sells about 3.5 million copies.
Yeah, I feel like you can make a 10 out of 10 Sonic game, and that's roughly it.
Yeah.
I feel like the benefit of making a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 Sonic games is that people buy Sonic plushes, comics, and watch the TV show more.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. Whereas with Mario, it's like Mario sells crazy amounts.
Yep. It's just operating in completely different ways.
You know what is popping off right now that I'm excited about? You mentioned Sonic Mania, the team Christian Whitehead and Evening Star Games, their next game, Penny's Big Breakaway.
Yeah.
Looks awesome.
Have you seen more of it since we saw that first trailer?
Oh yeah, like we at Indieland, while we were there, they did the first gameplay reveal and they played it for like an hour or something, and it looks awesome. It is so cool. I don't know if it's going to be amazing, but based on what I saw, I was like, this looks like someone went, what if we took some of the ideas from Sonic and some of the other like mascot platformers and mess with it a bit, and what can we come up with? And it's this platforming game with a yo-yo character, a sentient yo-yo, and it's really charming, and it's got some great music. It's got quite a noticeable, like, rare 90s era energy to it.
Okay.
So like that is what I'm excited about now, because I do miss games like Sonic, you know, and that classic 3D platformer style. We don't get as much of it these days, but so I'm like, I saw the Christian Whitehead Evening Star working on this game, and I was like, okay, I'm excited to keep an eye on that. And then I saw the game, and I was like, oh, I like this. It's got
okay, that's very exciting.
It's got like skill-based traversal in it and like fun stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm down.
I am very down for that. I'm gonna go back and check that out. I wish we had time on UPF to like watch some of those segments from Indie Land and react to them. That could be fun, but maybe we'll find another time for that. At the very least, I'm gonna be spending some time watching that this weekend. So looking forward to it. Penny's Big Breakaway, right? That's the name of the game.
That's the name of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
It always slips my mind, but I'm gonna remember it from now on. I promise. All right. EA boss says, I think that Microsoft and Activision is a great thing. This is from Jonas Mackey at Game Reactor. And Tam, I'll read a little bit of this, but I want you to like put yourself in his shoes and tell me why you think he thinks this is a great thing. While Sony was fierce opponents to Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, a lot of other major companies have been more positive, and we have previously reported how leaders for companies like Nintendo, Take-Two, and Valve supported the deal. EA also seems to be happy about it, and the boss Andrew Wilson even calls it a great thing in a CNBC interview. I think that Microsoft and Activision is a great thing. It means that one of the world's largest companies is going to continue to invest in our industry to help us grow the industry over time. But as we think about our position, certainly as an independent developer and publisher of the world's leading interactive entertainment content, we feel really good about our opportunity. And to the extent that there are opportunities for us to be acquisitive, we would, of course, look at those. What the fuck is it? I mean, acquisitive. Does that mean him acquiring others or them being acquired? I'll say, okay, Tam, I'll say that I've heard following the Activision deal being announced, that immediately EA was like, sound the alarms. We need to go look at every opportunity for us to be acquired or for us to merge. See if
I mean, acquisitive means to like acquire things. So
okay, so them acquiring
to
things.
buy shit.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But
what is the context he used that in?
He says,
we feel really good about our opinion, and to the extent that there are opportunities for us to be acquisitive, we would, of course, look at. I don't think Andrew Wilson knows that acquisitive means to be like excessively acquiring stuff to a level that's greedy.
Yeah, well, I don't, or he does know that, and he doesn't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, just to put it plainly here, I think that most of these executives think it's a good thing, because it's always a good thing to have someone above you that has a ton of money that would enable you to exit the market while getting a big payday.
Like this is why these fucking layoffs happen.
Yes.
This is why this student has gone, oh no, someone else bought a thing. I would like to buy a thing. Why? You know how this is going to go. You're going to end up having to do all this bullshit, and people are going to lose their jobs because you're spending loads of money for no reason. Just shut up.
I mean, look over at Square Enix,
make a
right?
good fucking game, all right?
Like
sort Battlefield out. Do that.
Well,
keep your money and sort Battlefield out. Make a new Apex Legends, or make a new Titanfall.
Make a new Titanfall.
Make a new Titanfall. Shut up about acquisitions and just make better games, because your games aren't popping that hard.
No.
Respawn is carrying your company on its back.
And Apex
do better with that.
On the way out, so it's like you better figure something. You better help them figure something else out.
I'm sure like the fucking EA Sports Soccer Club or whatever the hell it's called now is making a lot of money. But are they in a good enough position, like broad catalog wise, to be thinking about acquisitions like that? When genuinely Respawn is pretty much all they have. Like DICE is, I like DICE as a studio, but like Battlefield is not popping at all.
Yeah,
like,
I think that
what are you doing?
They might think it's a necessary thing, so they'll just have to figure it out. But I would imagine that a company like EA, they have money on hand. But they would have been in a better position to acquire things when interest rates were zero and they could just go out and borrow a bunch of money for cheap. So I don't know. I do know that like when the deal was announced for the Activision deal,
they just laid off people at BioWare.
Yeah, but
Like, they
I don't
can't
necessarily
make
think
a
this is
Dragon
about.
Age.
I don't think this is exclusively about acquiring other things. Like
Yeah.
when it was about coming out of the Activision deal, they were like, no, we want to be acquired. We are going to go talk to a bunch of bigger companies than us, and we're going to go talk to other publishers about merging. Like they had real conversations with some of the other biggest publishers that are out there, and saying, hey, do you want to acquire us? And then some other publishers came to them too, and EA was like, no, we don't want to work with you. Not you. Not you, not you. So it's like they're looking up and down. I don't know what really they could be spending money on to acquire in any major way right now that would make a difference for them. So,
I mean, like financially, I am sure they're doing perfectly fine because, like I said, like Respawn shit is popping. They've got Star Wars, that game's doing well, and also like the sports shit they do is that they can crank out some absolute turds and they will still sell like crazy. But as far as I can tell, the new FIFA is good to find.
Right, which is
so like they're probably fine. It's just a matter of should you be doing this right now? Well, like is your house in order to the point where
it's definitely
you can look around and start thinking about buying other things when your core franchises aren't doing that well. Like they don't have the prestige that they ever had. Like instead of trying to make up for a lack of prestige by just owning a lot of shit, why don't you spend that time, money, and effort on raising the profile of your existing franchises and having them be a kind of bedrock to then build expansion on top of. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb and I don't know anything about businesses, which is probably true, but like I just don't understand it. It's like it feels very greedy every time.
Yeah,
he did use the word acquisitive, and that is greedy acquisition. So
I think that you diagnosed it pretty well there, where it's like their house isn't in order enough. They are. This is not exclusive to EA. This is a lot of publishers. This is Sony. We were just talking about. They are successful. They do make a lot of money, but that money is understood to already be there. The investors know EA Sports games are going to make a lot of money, and they've done a good job about growing into these live service things that continue to make a lot of money. But now that those expectations are now built in, so EA now needs to find, for infinite growth to happen, you got to find the next thing. And there is no obvious next thing. This is the same question we come back to for every single one of these companies, and none of them have a good answer for it. It was going to be live service there for a few years. EA got off that tip a little bit earlier than some of these other companies, but it wasn't like they turned to and they had another answer similar to that. It was, okay, we're going to bide our time by trying to make some good games again, and so we're going to like make another one of those Star Wars Jedi games, and we're going to let BioWare, instead of making live service games, we are going to actually let them make Dragon Age and Mass Effect. But those are going to take a while, and those aren't necessarily going to be the solution to live service isn't working anymore. But if those games are good, it can still help them get a little bit of growth, but the expectations is for those games to hit and do really well. So they're in a tough spot, but they just continue to be flailing with their answers for these questions, and it always ends up again with these big executives making decisions that end up hurting people below. So, we'll see. At the very least, I don't think Microsoft's looking over at EA to acquire them, and I don't know if any big company is, maybe beyond that Disney story we heard a little bit ago about Disney thinking, let's just buy EA and then we could be in games. But Bob Iger doesn't seem too keen on that either.
No.
Okay, just made all my text really small. Let's move along here. Xbox startup screen is now a full-page Modern Warfare 3 ad. This comes from Claire Jackson at Kotaku. If you fired up your Xbox today, you might have seen something you didn't expect. A darn full-screen advertisement for the latest Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 3. Though Microsoft has done this before with exclusives like Starfield, it's already rubbing some gamers the wrong way. Though 2023's Modern Warfare 3 isn't technically coming out in full form until November 10th, those who want to get on the campaign can do so right now by pre-ordering any edition of the game. So while that early access period might be enticing for those eager to follow the story of Task Force 141, it's far from a universal desire, making the full-screen Call of Duty ad on Xbox's start screen feel intrusive. The Modern Warfare 3 marketing blitz comes just weeks after Microsoft wrapped its acquisition of Call of Duty's publisher, Activision Blizzard. And then they go on to talk about like what's actually in the ad. Hey, you had a sound that you made when I read that, and I think that's the correct take on this. We're already in your ecosystem. We're already pretty locked in. Getting aggressive and throwing it in our face it stops making it feel like the reason we're in your ecosystem for consoles is because mostly it's pretty pleasant. Mostly it's like my friends are playing games over there. I can start up a game. It's just going to work. If I buy microtransactions, I have a general sense that these things are going to last. These are all things that sort of build this network effect of keeping me attached and stuck to this ecosystem. This feels like actively repulsing me away, where it's like, hey, spend more money on our shit. And it's just like, chill out where we already are. Come on.
I'm just trying to remember, when did we pass the point where we like were okay with this? Because I remember there was a time when we all had like the Xbox dashboard.
Yes.
And then they were like, we're gonna put ads on here, and people were like, you're gonna do what?
Yep.
Where we pay you money for this and you're gonna put ads on here? And like, that was a big deal back then. And now we've reached a point where they don't even ask anymore. They just like full screen ad immediately.
Yep.
In not even like in a kind of like, here is the, the dashboard, here's where the ad is. It is fundamentally a core part of the system. The startup sequence is now an advertisement. That's a bit cheeky, man. I'm not sure if I'm into that. Like, I think I would be more into it if it wasn't for Call of Duty. If it happened for more than just Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like, this feels like the cheapest, most bullshitty way to try and advertise to me. It has no nuance. It's got no subtlety to it. It's just like, here's a big fucking logo. Enjoy it. Like, buy this game, please. That's not going to help. It's like you said, that's going to turn me off whatever you're advertising. If it was a case of like, here's a random indie game that we did it for as well, isn't that cool? I'd be like, yeah, that's kind of fun. Like, this, random check, like Immortality, for example. It feels like, here's a full boot up sequence for Immortality. That's fun. Or like, here's Like a Dragon. Boom. Isn't that fun? No, it's just for like fucking Activision Blizzard paid us $10 trillion, and now we're going to make our boot up sequence so that you are even more aware of how much money they have. So, great.
And it's like, when I'm starting up the console, really, like if I was starting up the store, Tam, and this happened, zero issue.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I expect to be advertised to when I go into a store.
Yeah.
That is where commerce happens. Like when I walk into a store, I expect to see advertisements. When I boot up a digital store, I expect to see advertisements. I think it's a good thing that developers can pay money to make their things more visible, because that means smaller developers could do that as well. It's probably maybe out of the price range for a lot of them, but it's like, if you can make it happen, it probably has a pretty good effect on your sales. So I want that to be an option. And if there's an option to take over the whole screen when I start the store, whatever. But just starting up my console, trying to get to my games that I played, that I paid for already, we are now, that is intrusive. That is bad.
This is you going to the store and someone coming and shouting an infomercial at you in the parking lot.
Yeah, the red light when you're driving away.
Let me get into the store before.
Yeah, when you've already bought the things and you're going home, and like right before you walk in your home to use the things that you bought already. Yeah. That's when they come at you with the ad. You're like, this just feels out of the purview. Now,
also,
I understand.
It's an advert for a game published by a company they own.
Yeah.
Which is like, what? It's fucked up, man.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't even know if Activision Blizzard is paying them, because they have the exclusive marketing deal with PlayStation. So it's like, I think the only way that this could happen is if Microsoft just did this of their own accord, which is even weirder.
And there's nothing. Sony's not doing that.
No, definitely not. Absolutely not.
If I was Sony, I'd be like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, I think they probably are a little bit. Now, I bet letter of the law, like Microsoft's probably okay, because but still, it still feels it's weird, it's unnecessary, and just don't do it. Let's get the fervor going a little bit for this one to stop them and let them know that this is pretty stupid.
Don't do this again unless you've got a good advert for a game that
unless it's for Pentiment. Just do it for Pentiment every day.
Do it advertise Pentiment on your fucking boot up screen every time. All right. And we'll take it. Do that, and I don't know, like Peggle, actually. Not Peggle.
Peggle 2, though. Peggle 2, though.
Yeah, bring Peggle 2 back, you cowards.
Let's go. All right, so let's see. Modern Warfare 3 players are being asked for Modern Warfare 2 before they start the game. This is from Jonas Mackey at Game Reactor. Some PlayStation 4 users...
This is the game you're advertising with a full screen boot-up sequence? All right, sweet.
There's a lot of fun stuff with this game, apparently, where the achievements and the trophies are actually nested under Modern Warfare 2 the same way DLC is, and it's like, boy, they really did just turn this DLC into a real game and did a kind of a half-assed job at that. So yeah, some PlayStation 4 users trying to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's campaign, which was released earlier today, for people who pre-ordered one of the more expensive editions are encountering a peculiar issue. The game demands a Modern Warfare 2 disc to start. Okay, wait, that's that. I actually misread this when I first put this in here. That's weird. This has raised concerns about the game's origins, as it was rumored from several good sources last year, including Bloomberg's very trustworthy journalist Jason Schreier, that it was intended as DLC expansion for its predecessor, something that was reportedly changed only a year ago. Another thing pointing towards this is that the game lacks a platinum trophy for PlayStation 5, as the title is listed as DLC for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It's like they're kind of making it pretty obvious at a certain point. Now, whatever, people are allowed to like change up their products, but they're asking $70 for this thing. This is a $70 video game, and it speaks to a certain lack of respect for your audience and for people spending money on your game, that you're not even going to make the effort to obfuscate the fact that this was once just DLC and probably would not have been $70. And so, yeah,
Did everything right and they indicted me.
Thanks, Don. Yeah, it's just weird. It's not the end of the world, but damn, it just feels like these publishers are getting kind of spotty with these things. I don't know. How do you feel?
That was an impression of Gigs from the UK crime scene. I am not surprised by this.
Yeah.
And I think I've reached the point where I'm going to be honest with you, Jeff Grubb. I don't care.
Yeah. You know what? That's fine. I think
whatever, man. Like this is a Call of Duty is a room that I walk into once a year for a little bit and then leave.
And sometimes it's on fire, and it's like, oh, well, what can I do about this?
Yeah, sometimes I walk in there and I'm like, oh, man, what can I do? It's always on fire. So I'll just come back and hope that it doesn't, completely burn the entire world down. But yeah, I don't think it's great. Like, I feel like they need to... It makes perfect sense from a technology perspective as well, right? Like, This is a platform. Call of Duty is a platform.
Yeah, and that's how the game works these days, yes.
Yeah, that's how the game works. It's understandable. I feel like what they need to figure out is the optics of it a bit better. Or, like, the transparency. Like, just explain what you're doing. Just tell us why this is happening. Or I understand why it's happening. You understand why it's happening. But, like...
And I think a lot of the audience does understand it, but not all of the audience.
Yeah, like random Gary the Game on X who's gonna be racist to me on the social networks when I tell them this is how it should be. You speak to them and say like, hey, this is this is a code base that we've got out there, or we've got like a whole infrastructure already set up. We're gonna inject new Call of Duty into this. It's gonna override the older one. You are getting a new game, Gary. Relax. We're making it quicker for you, so we don't have to upload a bunch of shit and make you download it a bunch of times and clog up your system. Gary, stop being racist.
I think Gary's biggest problem is when he called you by Jan's name just because you're brown too. That was really messed up, Gary. He shouldn't have done that.
To see it.
Okay, the other side of this, and then we're going to move on. Apparently, this is still a 200 gigabyte download. Damn, what the fuck, man?
Why are your games 200 gigabytes, man? What's going on?
Holy smokes. Okay.
Take that, Gary. Get a new fucking external hard drive, you prick.
Fucked, Gary. All right, next story. This one you will care about. Silent Hill game disables chat after too many posts about cum. This is Ashley Bardem at Kotaku. Silent Hill Ascension.
Video games.
Me too. I knew this was going to happen, and I was like, I got to get into these episodes so I can be there when it happens. And it's just like 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's a bad time for me. I'm putting my kids to bed, making sure everything's taken care of. So I got a show. So I haven't been in there, but we're going to keep up with this story as much as possible. Silent Hill Ascension carried the weight of the entire Silent Hill franchise, of which there hasn't been an official installment in about a decade, and immediately fumbled it during a disastrous October 31st premiere. The series, essentially an extended choose-your-own-adventure cutscene progressed by a live audience, already suffers from wonky UI and a useless battle pass, which requires you to pay $20. Among other things, you pay $20 for, among other things, a legendary bread sticker. An unexpected number of people are watching. Developer Jimvid CEO Jacob Novik told Kotaku over email, making it so that several systems were strained during its launch. A lot of those people were also posting about the game director Hideo Kojima's cum So Jinbin disabled Ascension's chat for its second night of streaming on November 1st. Ascension's 15-ish minute episodes air nightly. I did see some tweets about Hideo Kojima's come, so that does seem that tracks with the reporting on the ground. Yeah, this was going to happen. Have you seen any of the footage of this, Tam?
No.
So they talk about wonky UI. It looks like a nightmare. It looks like an old AOL Flash game popped up over footage of a Silent Hill game or a Silent Hill like bad TV show, and it's just so fucking bad and weird. And I really got to. I do have to see it for myself. I think they're doing new episodes every night at 9 p.m. So I might try again tonight. We'll see. But hey,
why are you doing this, Konami?
Yeah, Konami, right? I mean, that's the question, Tam. Konami?
Konami, like I don't know, Konami. When they did the Silent Hill stuff, I was like, okay, some of this sounds pretty interesting. This was the one where I was like, what are you doing, man? This is where you went one step too far.
It's a sign that Konami doesn't actually know how to pick winners and losers when it's like doing these things. It does seem like there's some winners. You know that. Who knows what's going to happen with the Bloober Team remake? I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a Bloober guy. I've never really played their games. But it feels like someone came in. Yes, it feels like someone came in and was like, "Here's 7 papers of Silent Hill ideas. Which one would you like?" And they went, "Yes." Yes.
And everyone's like, "What? Okay, cool. Let's just do that then." Yeah, like I feel like the smart thing would have been to start with the Silent Hill 2 remake and be like, "Hey, there's a Silent Hill 2 remake. What do you guys think?
Well, the Silent
Hill amazing. The
Silent Hill community is in a good place because they're already doing the conspiracy theories where like they released this first so that when the Bloober Team's Silent Hill remake comes out and it's terrible, it will look better in comparison. And so it's like,
as a longtime Silent Hill fan, here's what I'll say: Silent Hill 2 community is fucking unhinged. Like Silent Hill 2 community and Kingdom Hearts 2 community aren't that far off from each other. So it is what it is.
Yep. Well, good luck, Silent Hill community. You guys seem like you're gonna need it.
I as a Silent Hill fan, I know that my chances of being heartbroken are much higher than my chances of being excited. So I laser focus on the things that I care about.
Exactly.
You got the Silent Hill 2 remake. I'm paying attention to that, and maybe a couple of those other like interesting side projects that are come.
Right. I never played. And this game's apparently good. That like Zelda light gun game for the Wii. It's like it just didn't strike my fancy, so I just ignored it. I'm a big Zelda fan. I think
Zelda light gun game for the Wii. You mean Link's crossbow training?
Link's crossbow training, yes.
Fucking hell, get the name right.
I mean, listen, I just think I ignored it because it just wasn't for me. But I think that's what people can learn from me, right? That was a good thing for me.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. That game was ass.
Was it? I thought people liked it. I could never. I'm bad at telling.
There's a lot of times where people like Link. Okay, that's what happened.
That is probably what happened.
This is great. This is great. It's got the green kid in it.
The green kid. Oh man, I love that green kid. All right, let's hit this last story because it's the poll question.
Good light gun games on Wii were.
He's squinting.
Dead. No, there was Dead Space Extraction was good.
Oh, that one was fun.
That one popped off.
Wasn't there a House of the Dead one? I don't know.
Overkill, yeah, Overkill. Overkill was lit.
Yes. All right. Let's do this last story because that's part of the poll. France gave Eiji Aonuma Knight of the Order of the Arts and Letters. This is from my Nintendo News.
Oh, stay away from Eiji Aonuma, France.
Eiji Aonuma and the rest of the dev team behind The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It has been a very busy year for them. The game was finally released on the Nintendo Switch, so it's only a matter of time before the arrival of the Gaming Awards season will result in the game winning some awards. However, Eiji Aonuma has already received some recognition this year that may surprise you. In France, Eiji Aonuma has been named Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters. For all intents and purposes, Aonuma is now a knight. It is actually very common for France to knight non-French people. For example, Shigeru Miyamoto is also a part of the Order of Knights of Arts and Letters in France. All right. Well, I'm going to skip to today's poll question. Tam, which one of these Giant Bomb staff members is the most likely to become a knight? Is it going to be Lucy James, Dan Reichert, Jeff Bakalar, or Jan Ochoa?
We all know it's Dan.
It's Dan. It's Dan.
We all know it's Dan.
We know it's Dan.
Dan will be like, I'm a knight. And we'll be like, okay, how did this happen?
And it's like, yeah, there will be no good explanation for how it happened, and yet it will have happened.
No, it like everyone will be like, everyone else make it. Well, everyone will make a good case for literally everyone else, and then somehow Dan will be the knight, and it will be like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah,
That makes
and he'll be walking around with a sword, just flailing it about, being like, I'm a knight. I'm a knight.
Just drinking Miller Lite and with a sword, walking down the street. That's
I'm a knight with a Miller Lite. I'm a knight with a Miller Lite. Miller Lite knight. I'm the Miller Lite knight.
And he takes the Miller Lite box and puts it on his head like a crown. Yeah.
Dark Souls like a boss health comes up as Dan Riker, Knight of Miller Lite.
Knight of Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Let's get to the poll question from yesterday. What do you want from God of War Ragnarok DLC?
I want Dan Riker in it.
16% said they want a Dan Reichert or an expansion connected to the main game. 39% say they want a standalone expansion, an expandalone similar to Miles Morales. And 46% say no DLC, just make God of War 3. Sam, where do you fall in on this? Because I'm in the middle there. Give me a Miles Morales like.
I want to see Kratos trying to be a dad, like not like a I'm going to teach you how to kill dear dad. I'm talking like, I got to change this little shit's nappies.
Yeah.
I mean, I want like, what's that Vin Diesel movie where he's the pacifier?
The pacifier. I was going to say Mr. Nanny, but that's a different one. Yes, the pacifier.
That is what I want I want Kratos to be doing that shit, being like, oh God, I got to look after this child. Where is my wife? Oh, she's a tree or whatever. Oh, I got to take her ashes up here, but I got to feed this boy. I got no milk, boy.
It should just be like a life sim, like just Atreus is on just like summer break from school or whatever, and so he's like at home all the time, and Kratos is always like, go out and do something, go clean the yard, go play with your friends, and he never does. He just wants to hang out with his dad. Yeah.
I for real talk though, the thing that I want now is the Metal Gear Solid 2ification of God of War.
That's what I was getting at with Miles Morales.
A character you play as a character who has to hunt Kratos.
Oh, okay,
So like the best thing about Metal Gear Solid 2 is you get to Raiden is not great. Okay, I don't mind him at this point, but like the coolest moments are when you are fighting alongside Snake and you get to see why Snake is who Snake is and why he's revered in the way he is, because he's a fucking badass.
Really big dick, yeah.
How cool would it be if you were like huge wang.
Huge hog.
Well, how cool would it be if you were like, okay, I need to hunt this God of War who's been going around. You play a character from the Greek pantheon who has like now been the entire life vowed revenge to kill.
All they've ever heard about is how Kratos destroyed everything they ever loved.
He destroyed everything. So he's grown up hating Kratos his entire life, and he has no context for why this happened. So you begin this like realm hopping journey to find and kill this god murderer, and you have no idea of the history, but that means that you have to go on the bloody, like, you have to be on the trail of Kratos after he's gone through his warpath, through the Greek pantheon, through the Norse one. You can maybe add some other, pantheons through there, and along the way you get to experience the kind of the full magnitude of his wrath,
right,
without actually facing him, up until the eventual points where you do run into him and you're like, this guy is fucking unreal. What's going on,
and they can do
man?
so much to subvert that, right? Where it's like you have to track him down through this other pantheon, and as you fight those gods, you like realize how messed up most gods are, and so you're maybe a little bit conflicted by the time that character gets to Kratos, and then so have all this emotional buildup. That would be fantastic.
And you're being manipulated by these other gods because they know that they fucked up ages ago, and they're next on the list because this bald motherfucker is killing everyone. So it'll be like, that could be like, oh, cool. That's a new way to look at Kratos through the lens of someone else, to show how much of a beast he is. That would be really cool, I think. And you could even have like Atreus appear at some point and be like, yo, my dad's actually pretty cool, man. Relax.
That would be fantastic. All right, well, there you go. That wasn't on
Sony Santa Monica. Enjoy.
That wasn't an option, but I'm sure that would have got 100% of the votes if it was up there. All right, we already talked about that new poll. It's going to be who's going to get the knighthood, or most likely get the knighthood from the Giant Bomb staff. Talk about that on Monday. Before we get to all that, though, Tam, what do you have going on this week, or next week, I suppose, and where can people find you on the internet? All that good stuff.
I'm at TomoH everywhere. You can find me on Twitter there. You can find me on Twitch. I will be streaming again very soon, but I've been shadow banned on Twitter right now for reasons, so it's a bit hot for me everywhere. And so I'm being very careful about my availability online, as I said. But I will be back soon. I will be on the Bombcast today. Bombcast. Revengeance.
Bombcast Revengeance. BCR coming at you, everybody, after UPF. It'll be like a little bit after UPF. It'll be live. So go ahead and watch.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that. And then UPF is happening as well. Yeah, and then I think next week we have... Do we have... No, we don't have a Jeff next week. Yeah, but we'll figure that stuff out. There's plenty to do. Okay, we're planning some stuff for end of the year.
Lots of
Please
stuff
be
happening.
Excited. Please be excited, especially if you're in LA.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Definitely.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Also, Sean, I think, put up a little blog post about Extra Life on the site today. So
Can we get some W's in the chat for Sean, please?
Yeah, he's been doing a ton of work on that. It's actually
absolutely killing it.
It's been
Legend.
hurting cats, so tough stuff. And then what time is UPF? UPF should be in about an hour. We'll start around 1-ish. We'll see. That's when we've been doing it recently. So, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Let's wrap up. Tam, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, as always. Another Dregs Day down. Stay tuned for the shit survey of the week.
Thank you all for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Goodbye, YouTube.
Goodbye, YouTube.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Oh.